Jamaica Politics Uncovered. Hello. Hello.
Yes, hi, good night.
Good night to you. What a wonderful voice. This is the voice of a charming lady. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I'm just stopping by to say you guys are doing such a good job. I like listening to Scratchy. I don't know Scratchy, but Scratchy talks some real facts here, so come and know back to, you know.
You know back to?
Yes, I went to school on Spanish Town Road.
I see. Wow. So what is your view on the subject, ma'am? We're looking at Jamaica's stall development, and to be very frank with you, you know, ma'am, if you don't have economic growth and development, you can't grow your country, you know, ma'am. All you see people talk about bad road and better hospitals and social programs. You know where the money have to come from, ma'am? It have to come from the economic growth, growing your economy, ma'am. But on this path, ma'am, this trajectory that we are on, it is very slow, very, very slow. And we have been looking at Singapore and looking at their system of government. We have agreed that, yeah, Singapore's democracy, well, they barely have democracy there. We operate a two-party system. But within this two-party system, ma'am, we have to find the best model, the best model of our development. How do you see it, ma'am, in terms of how is it that we are going to move forward over the next 2 or 3 decades to make sure that we really maximize whatever opportunities we have and that we don't reverse, we don't go backwards?
Well, that's a good question, first of all. The thing is, the first thing you have to do is make sure that you have people in your government who are capable of seeing the issues that we're discussing and who have the brain power to think about what the solutions should be and to surround themselves.
Is your name Nats, ma'am?
Yes, it is.
Are you bad girl Nats or bad girl?
All of that, yes.
Oh my God. Is you that are talking to? I saw you did a video with Nikisha Burchell, ma'am. Oh my God, I've watched it 10 times.
Yes.
Well, welcome, ma'am. I didn't know it was you at all.
Today I was saying to somebody, if Jamaica could keep Andrew Holness there until he's the age of retirement, it would be a good thing. As I'm hearing you guys talk about the changing of government and stuff like that. I did a video a couple of days ago looking at the 80 odd years of political independence, if you will, in Jamaica.
Yes.
And as I look at the times, each time Jamaica changes government, it really regresses when you look at the fact that one party, I'm not going to say which, so I'm going to go watch the video if I know I hear, but one party's always been focused on economic development. And to an extent, they've done okay. But the other party, when they're in power, their focus is not on economic growth. So you see where we are right now, we're playing catch up. So with that being said now, the solution, Jamaica has to focus, and I agree with you that the growth is slow. Jamaica has to focus on how they are giving people opportunities in their own country to develop. You understand? For example, you know how it's hard for people to get a bank loan. You see people like Romesh who come out, and Romesh is pretty wealthy. And people like Romesh come out and I say, listen, the banks, them down here, them not give you a chance. Now imagine the man when I have as much money as Romesh. So with things like that, you have the whole digital thing that we are behind on. We need to catch up with the world where digitization is concerned. We need to be more productive. We don't have enough productivity going on in the country. So these are all areas where we can improve. You talk about tax revenue. You cannot have people doing bandula under the table thing and take away tax revenue from the country that can improve the country. For example, the whole Dennis Garden thing where he said, I've been doing this for 20 years and he supposedly paid back $10 million. The country lost over, I don't want to say the amount because I don't remember the exact amount. I think some millions of dollars, 23 million or so. The country lost. So we need to enforce, strict laws and rules and following protocol so that the country not lose so much money. So there are so many things, the bureaucracy that exists in the country, the whole heap of red tape. So there's a lot of things. But do we have the people at the wheel that are capable of focusing on national development? I think we do. I think this PNP that we're seeing right now, they should stay very far away from our government because they're not fit. I don't think they're even fit to be an opposition, right? I could go on and on, but let me give somebody else a chance. Thank you for having me.
No, man, you're running already?
Oh, okay.
We're just getting started. Nats, don't worry yourself, man. You're welcome here. Let me ask you something, Natalie. You're Natalie?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, let me ask you something. In the competitive democracy that we operate, the opposition has a symbolic role of opposition. And I have broken it down into two psychoanalytic terms. One is what I call the ideal ego, and the other is the actual ego. The ideal ego is the constructive critic that offers credible alternative. So that is the alternative government. The actual ego is the reactive critic whose identity is built on what is called negation or failure. The government is to fail for them to succeed. Do you think that Mark Golding fits into a constructive critic of Jamaica or a reactive critic? Do you think Golding is a good opposition leader, or do you think he is one of those who is bad for Jamaica?
To be very honest with you, I think that Mark Golding is way above what he's capable of doing. I'm sure that when he was in his comfort zone of being an attorney in Jamaica and that kind of thing, you'll have people who say they work with him, he did a good job, whatever. But to be an opposition leader, it requires high functioning skills that I don't see in Mark Golding. I think the first time, because I like to give people a chance before, me really voice an opinion on whether I think they're good or bad or right or wrong for a situation. I gave Mark Golding a chance by listening. And this was back in COVID in 2020. The first thing that Mark Golding did to show me that he's not capable of doing this job is when he advised the government in COVID to slow paying down on the debt and give the money to the Jamaican people. That is the most reckless. As somebody who runs a household, I'm sure that anybody who runs a household or participate in the running of a household would understand how dangerous that statement was. Slow down and pay on your debt and give the money to the Jamaican people. You think during COVID we never have bills to pay same way? We did have bills to pay same way. And we couldn't tell bill collectors, say, listen, COVID, I'll go and make you. No. So that alone told me at the time that this is not a serious leader. This is not somebody who we should put our country in his hands. So it's not a personal thing. It's just, I don't think the man is capable of functioning this high.
Yes. In other words, he's not patriotic.
Well, patriotism is a different conversation, and I can have that conversation too. But when you're talking about whether he's capable of leading an opposition party and possibly a country, I'm just saying he does not have the high functioning skills that are required to do so. Now, where patriotism is concerned, we can talk about that. You cannot be a good opposition or a patriot by opposing things that are good for our country. That's not, because it's country first, always. And I can give some examples of, good things that are on the table for the country. And he says no to it. Or when he goes on foreign soil, and tell people that, our government is corrupt and everything is bad in our country. I would never do that. I cannot imagine ever doing that. If I had an issue with our government, no matter who is there, I would get on a plane and I will go to Jamaica. I mean, no one can get 100 people for come protest with me. I can't do that. And I will bring people go protest by any government who may feel say, I hold down a country or I destroy our people. But protesting on foreign soil won't help me. I go face the people that I have a problem with, and that is to face the government in a Jamaica. So when they come on foreign soil, telling people in the diaspora that the government, this and the government that, you see what they're doing? What they're doing is trying to destabilize our country, trying to get people to see our country in a negative light. And they're talking all these things. We have a prime minister who hasn't been prosecuted of anything. I mean, our opinions are our opinions. What we think about him, whether we like him or not, whatever. But you cannot be going out there saying that somebody is corrupt or a criminal without a prosecution. And the prosecutors in Jamaica, where the Integrity Commission and everything is concerned, they tried to prosecute him twice. There was nothing to prosecute him on. There was an organization outside of Jamaica. Sorry, not an organization. An investigative body outside of Jamaica that investigated our prime minister. This has never happened to any prime minister in the history of Jamaica. And they investigated it. They came back with nothing. And the IC could not table that in front of the Jamaican people and say, we did an investigation outside of Jamaica and this is what we found. Nothing. So there's a lot more to the discussion where that is concerned. You also have institutions that are implicated now because they've gotten on this campaign to take down the government, take down the prime minister. I don't know what these people are thinking, but at this point in time, go ahead.
Let me ask you this, Natalie, before you go. You have to go. Listening to all that you have said, the obvious challenges that the government is facing, the opposition from the opposition and the opposition from other interests within the society. Clearly, the Prime Minister would have done well to have balanced the scale and be pushing the country forward. In your view, Natalie, how well do you think the Andrew Holness administration is doing under the circumstances?
I think the Prime Minister and his cabinet have done a decent job. They have been under immense pressure, not just on policies.
Would you explore that with me a little bit more? When you say immense pressure, tell us a little bit of that pressure, because as I posited, it's not just the opposition being the People's National Party, but there are other pressure, quote unquote. Would you explore that in answering the question?
Yes, the pressure I'm talking about is the pressure to perform in general, as expected by the people. The government is expected to improve infrastructure, road conditions, water, education, healthcare, crime, all of that. Okay? Remember, they did not inherit a country that is fully developed. We are a developing nation. And so whatever government comes, they have to perform to stay, right?
Yes.
Some governments come and them really don't care. Them just want to know so them get elected, them do them time and then gone. But this government, led by Andrew Holness, I think he takes this thing serious where at the end of his term, he wants to have something to show, right?
Yes.
So the pressure now what I talk about, as I just said, it's the crime and the economy and everything like that. In addition to that, you have a man that has dealt with something that no other prime minister has ever dealt with. His image and his character came under the worst assault from this opposition based solely on lies and collusion with the Integrity Commission. So how do you survive something like that? There are people who are still asking me, how did Prime Minister Andrew Holness manage to survive the assault on his character, assault on his image, the lies that they told, and how did he survive it? A lot of people still can't figure it out. So these are the pressures I'm talking about. And this is why you just cannot have an opposition behaving that way. And I'm glad, and I'm not afraid to say it, I'm glad that the Jamaican people rejected it. But don't get me wrong, I am not looking at the future of Jamaica in the next 5-10 years just from the lens of the PNP being defeated. I still hold the government accountable because they still have to perform. They still have to continue bringing down crime. They still have to improve our healthcare system. They still have to deal with the infrastructure issues, education, all of that. So we still hold them to it. But I'm saying it is good for Jamaica to have this government there than to have the People's National Party there.
The Jamaica Labour Party is better.
Yeah, definitely, without the shadow of a doubt. They've only been there 10 years, you know. They've only been there 9 years. The PNP was there 18 straight uninterrupted years. If you put their term on a scale and weigh it out, I mean, I'm not going to do it for you. I'm going to let you do that. But if the government of the day gets another 10 years, to me, I think Jamaica would see much, much better days than where we are now. Not that we are not, making progress, we have, but I think there's no need for the Jamaican people to put this PNP in our government anytime soon. Don't do it. It's not a good idea. No, it's not a good idea. And I'm only saying this because I love my country, yeah. Very clear.
Well, Natalie, what a pleasant surprise to have you. As I said to you that I saw you put on some hips, you see, ma'am, and in a white dress, and did you remember when Nikisha Burchell came out and said that she was it was rumored that she was dating the Prime Minister?
Yes.
I see you put on a white dress with some hips there.
I fear I hip them, me borrow, me gear them back.
That's how I was introduced to you, and I came upon this video.
Really?
What is this girl? Yes. Sister Mia is Kerry Missy saying welcome lads, and I said, but this is the bad girl. This is a bad girl.
I don't mind being called that. I don't mind being called that. No, I don't. Okay. But somebody in the chat is asking me, is telling you that I used to be a PNP. So let me tell you, I used to be a member. Yes, I was a member of the PNP until 2020, sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
So why the transition? And now you are an activist? A public activist?
I have always been an activist, but why I decided to break away from the People's National Party is because I saw that the PNP, they didn't have the country's interest at heart. It was about fighting down each other and them something there. And you cannot put people like those in your government. A political party must be stable. They must have ideas. They must have bright people, talented people to put in your government. Leading a country is a serious, serious matter. It's not just about jumping up and celebrating colors and green and orange. You got to be careful. Now, somebody like me, Mr. Neighbor, I have been in the US for quite some time. I'm a US citizen, but anybody who know me, them know say, I am not one of those people who lost touch with my root and my culture and everything. But at this point in my life, I am considering going back to Jamaica. The only reason why I'm not doing it yet is because I have a big daughter going off to college this summer. So I got to stick around. She was born here. But anyway, with that being said, of course, you're looking at your country to see if it's a good decision to make, a good thing to do. What I would say is, yes, now is a good time for all you Jamaicans who are looking to move back, raise your kids back there, whatever. It is a good time to do so So when I look at the whole situation now and say, the PNP, how they're coming to the people saying that they want to lead the country, the people they're surrounded by, what is motivating them or lack thereof, it's not a good thing. What is motivating the PNP is not what is good for Jamaica. What is motivating them is control and power. You got to come with something more than that. Internal control and power. And then now when them get in government, they don't know what to do because nobody's studying the issues. You hear what they said? Slow down and paying on the debt and give the money to the Jamaican people. You cannot put those people in power, you mad? They mess up the economy all over again, man.
Andre Horton, ma'am, Professor Horton said that the PNP, they see the people of Jamaica as subjects, and is that something that you would agree with Horton on?
Well, you have to understand that the PNP that we came up knowing at a time when, Jamaica politics was more festive because we had a little more respect for each other and there was room to discuss policies and things like that, because now it's mostly conflict and personal attacks that we're seeing and lies being told. So it leaves very little room for us to discuss policies and positions and stuff like that. No, the PNP of before, there was room to discuss those things, but the PNP that came in 2020 is a totally different thing. They're only operating under the banner of the PNP, but this is a group of people.
Hold on. Why do you make that distinction, Natalie, from the PNP at 2020? Why do you make that distinction? What changed in 2020?
What changed?
The PNP?
Okay, so what changed in the PNP is that there was an internal friction, one side and the other side, and one side wanted to control the party and all that kind of thing. The people who got control of the party, neighbor, they are not capable of leading a major political organization. They came in with what they thought it should be. And what they thought it should be is to attack people personally. It's to lie on people and disseminate false information. You cannot run a major political party like that. That is not politics to me. And so what Andre Horton said, he is making reference to the PNP that he joined around that time. So that's what he saw. They don't care about the country. They only care about internal control. And once they get
but then that fraction would have been in the party before.
Yes, but they were never elevated. Yes, but they were never elevated to power by the people in there because the people say them not ready. So they must elevate themselves by sabotaging and disrespecting, and it's nasty, man. It's a whole nother topic, but it's dirty. But anyway, what Andre Horton said is he was put in the Senate around 2019. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's 2019. So when he came in, that internal struggle was going on. And I tried to tell him one at a time, I think on WhatsApp, said, don't join these people because you're going to be sorry. Because Missy say, he's not a man where can operate and function like them. I see that already. But maybe he didn't see it and he had this passion to serve his constituency or whatever, and that's fine. But I'm vindicated again because I've been trying to warn and tell people 5 years now, so them people here is no good. You understand? So, with that being said, the Jamaican people have to be smart and look on the situation. You have the Jamaica Labour Party. First of all, they're a listening government. If them got the foolishness and the Jamaican people them come out and say, look, we don't agree with this, you cannot do that. They're going to take a step back, reevaluate themselves, and they're going to do what is right based on that reevaluation. That's how I view this government. The Rise United people, them are the faction of the PNP where they don't want to lead our government, Bunting and Golden and them, you can't take no chance with them. You got to be careful. Their foreign policy positions, have you seen some of the things that they have said with foreign policy? These are some dangerous people. They're still functioning and operating on the PNP of the 1970s where foreign policy is concerned, because they have not thought about the current geopolitical situation and what Jamaica is today to be able to form their own foreign policy position. So they have to keep leaning on what was popular for the PNP in the 1970s, where foreign policy is concerned. But it does not fit today because we have evolved, the world has evolved. You understand me?
Yeah. Oh,
So
wow. So you would you be thinking, Natalie, of becoming involved in representational politics in Jamaica in the future?
right now, I always believe that one should, when it comes down to politics, I don't think that one should be led by personal ambition. I think one should be led by the people. If I reach a point where the people them say, listen, we would like you to represent us, I would seriously consider it. But I'm not one to thrust myself into anything, but I am a strong advocate for myself and for others and certainly for my country. And if in the future, there's a group of people or anybody, any group of people say, I think I would want you to represent me or represent us, I would think about it.
One final question before you leave. I really want you to go, but I'm tempted to ask, because whenever I get someone like you, this question always comes into my mind. Having been a member of the People's National Party, and now you are supporting the government of Jamaica under the Jamaica Labour Party. Tell me, Natalie, what is the major difference between these two parties that you would share? It may not be ideological, but what is the difference between the two parties?
Okay, so you said that I am supporting the Jamaica Labour Party, and I want people to know that I am not just supporting the Jamaica Labour Party. I am supporting a government that I feel is doing their best to move our country in the right direction, a government that is transparent, I believe, and I think they're a listening government, right? So these are the reasons why I am supporting the Jamaica government. Now, that being said, the major differences I see is that the Jamaica Labour Party, led by Prime Minister Andrew Holness, they are more the progressive movement of today in Jamaica. I do not believe the People's National Party has evolved in the way that they need to evolve, that is progressive, that is inviting to women, young professionals, and all those things, because they're so focused over there on one set of people controlling the party. So I don't really see them as viable in any way at all. But the Jamaica Labour Party of today, they have people who are well studied, people who understand the issues, people who have the political will, people who can take constructive criticisms, these are all the things. And I think we, the people, we need to continue holding them accountable and continue, being the advocates of truth out here, because our country is under attack, disinformation. So, yeah, that's the major difference I see.
Well, Natalie, I hope you'd come back. Will you?
Sure, thank you. Yes, somebody told me about your TikTok, and I saw it in my feed, and I decided to stop by. So thank you for having me.
Well, not a problem. I hope that you'd come back. You're welcome. You hear?
Okay, thank you.
And whenever I'm having a bad day, all I need to do is go and look at you dancing.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that's good to know.
That video is hilarious. I can tell you.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
Never.
Yeah.
Not having a stupor, man. Probably the hips.
No,
the hips.
not as cute at all, but it's just it's a takedown and a takeoff that is hilarious. It's hilarious.
All right.
I didn't know that she was so talented. Take care of yourself and thank you for coming. You here?
Thank you, and same. Have a good evening, everybody.
Okay.